Now, oftentimes when I think about saints, I think about them as solitary figures without even thinking much about the fact that they had friendships. What would it have been like to be a friend of a saint? And I was enamored yesterday reading the story of Saint Alipius, Alipius, who lived from 360 to 430. And he had a great friendship with Saint Augustine. And what was interesting reading their stories is there were times where Augustine was a help to Alipius, and there was times that Alipius was a help to Augustine. This very human, normal story about these friends helping each other to grow in holiness. Now the story is Saint Alipius and Augustine were from the same hometown in Tagaste in northern Africa. And Alipius got to know Augustine because Augustine was his teacher in rhetoric or logic. But they were close in age and they struck up a great friendship. And Augustine was sort of a mentor figure to Alipius in some ways. But Alipius had this vice, as all of us have vices, but he was addicted, sort of, you could say, to the Roman circus, the spectacle of secular stuff, very similar to probably trash TV today. And Augustine really helped him overcome that. And there's a story that one time some friends of Alipius convinced him to go one more time to the Roman circus. And he heard someone screaming, and he had closed his eyes and he looked for a second. And it sort of sent him into this tailspin. And Augustine was able to help him overcome that. I think that's a great example too for oftentimes in friendships. It takes friends to help us overcome our vices, whether it's to impure things or to eating disorders or to vices or to gossip. Whatever vice it is, friends can often be the one to pull us out of it because they know that we can do better and we can share that level of intimacy with them when we're struggling in that. Well, what's interesting is Alipius' life and Augustine's life brought them both to Rome. And in Rome, it's sort of the roles reversed. Augustine persuaded Alipius to join this Manichaean cult, which was obviously opposed to the Catholic teaching and faith. And so they both got involved in this cult, and their lives continued them up to Milan in Italy, where they both encountered the preaching of Saint Ambrose. And even though they were part of this cult, they were intrigued by his preaching. Eventually, it was Augustine who decided that he wanted to convert and become Catholic and be baptized, and Alipius followed suit, and they were baptized on the same day. And they returned to their hometown of Tagaste in northern Africa and started in their hometown a ministry for young men. I can't imagine what that would have been like. You know, here were these men who had encountered Christ, and now they had lives that were transformed, and they wanted to share that transformation with others. People in their hometown, young men who also could have been led astray the same way that they had. And as they were both living there, working there, Augustine and Alipius were both made bishops. Augustine went to Hippo, and Alipius stayed in their hometown. But they retained that friendship for all of their lives. And it was Augustine's confessions that also helped Alipius to be recognized as a saint in our Catholic Church. So this beautiful back and forth, this very human relationship, friendship, where they help each other to grow in holiness. And it invites us to think about, are we that type of friend to others? Are we the type of person who helps our friends get to heaven, or are we sometimes a hindrance? And how can we help each other, push each other to seek heaven first of all, to be a good friend today? Saint Alipius, pray for us.